Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Thank you for the confirmation. I'm not seeing the Steam or TikTok feed yet, so let me know if you see those pop up. I'm refreshing the multi-stream feed as well. Good. Wow. I got Steam, which is crazy that I got this before TikTok. Interesting. YouTube is still on the wait screen. Yeah, we're just doing checks right now, Consonant, so thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, I got Steam up now. Weirdly, no TikTok. Huh. Well, this is frustrating. Okay. I'll just keep refreshing it and checking it every once in a while. I do see it outputting to Huh. Hey, Swedish cook. Weird. Alright. Maybe something's wrong with live, or I'm just not sure where it's at. Oh well. I do have Steam up, but I don't have TikTok. I don't know what's going on. This is so weird. I don't know why I can't find it. Thank you everyone for being patient while I figure this out. Live will begin shortly. Like the live for TikTok failed or something. I don't know why. Not much I can do about it, I guess. Oh. Okay, it's saying we're live now. Maybe. There we go. Just took a minute. It was just thinking. Sorry about that, everyone. I just wanted to make sure everything was good before we, moved on. And it looked like whatever it was is now dealt with. So thank you for bearing with me. So we've got viewers from YouTube, Twitch, got Steam. We've likely got, it looks like Twitter and Facebook are live, and TikTok is live, so those are active at least. We're good. Yay! But yeah, TikTok was asleep. It looked like the hamsters needed to be woken up and fed some lettuce before they could, or some leeks before they could spin the wheel. It's great. How you doing, Vince? Thank you for asking how I'm doing. I appreciate that. Okay, looks like we're live all the way across the board. How is everyone doing today, by the way? How was your week since Wednesday? How have you been doing? What you been up to? Did you happen to get any tabletop gaming in this week? If you did, let's hear about it. If you had session prep this week, let's hear about that. I'd like to know about all of it. I am doing well, actually. I'm very excited because I have a one-shot in a few days with some friends, and it's kind of like a test drive, if you will, to make sure if the group, has fun. And there's one player in the group who's only done a couple of one-shots, never really done D&D with people who have actually played before. We hired a professional DM to manage the session, so none of us has to worry about, GMing, DMing, session prep stuff, which is nice, so we can all just sit down and play. It's a bunch of my old homies and then my family. So it's like a nice little group of people who I know everyone in the group. Everyone in the group pretty much knows each other for the most part, with one exception. Hey, Henrik, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. From Denmark, that is awesome. Well, hello from Vegas. No, wait, the Vegas has to stay here because whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So none of my greetings ever leave. I'm just kidding. So, hey, random ladybird. Set up a database to cope with a sandbox game that I bought. Not as familiar with my own game. Gotcha, gotcha. Oh, for sure, Swedish Cook. Here's the thing. Okay, a DM, what does a DM do? Right? At the end of the day, there's a whole lot of work involved with, planning and prepping a game and running a game, right? Also investment and whatnot, especially if it's all the books and software and whatnot. Now, if it's for a group of friends, that's a close group of friends, they're running it together, yeah, it makes sense, one of the DMs, or one person, the DM, maybe runs it voluntarily or whatever. But I do think, as a content creator, as a producer, as someone who has put in the effort to learn how to DM, especially if you've done it for years, and, have all the equipment and know-how and expertise to provide a valuable production service, I think by all means, yes, you should be able to put a price tag on it and sell that. It's no different than, say, someone playing sports professionally, or a musician making money, by entertaining, or an artist selling their art. I don't see any difference between those things. Or a professional, gamer being a video game tester, or a streamer making money that way through monetization of videos or through sponsorships, etc. So yeah, there are professional DMs out there, and there are a few of them that provide a great service. I mean, you probably didn't even realize it, but a professional DM or two already, know of a few of them. I mean, look at Critical Role or Dimension 20. What they do, they're professional DMs, and they definitely get paid for what they're doing on there. You know what I mean? It is a good thing. Yeah, monetarily, here's the thing, okay? So there's, right inside the DMG, or I think in the player's handbook, there's an excerpt that says, we encourage you to bring treats so your DM has snacks and fuel during the session. So it's kind of like they encourage you to try and bring, snacks or food or something to go along with it, because the DM put in all the effort to prep the session, right? Now, if it's a paid session, first off, you're motivated to show up because you paid for it, right? That's a huge, huge benefit. Secondly, I think it takes the burden off of one of the friends in the group and allows them all to play. What if you have a bunch of forever DMs that want to play, want to get a player group together or a one-shot? It's kind of hard sometimes when there's always that one player in the group, or that one person in the group that ends up being the DM. So in this case, our friends get to hang out and not have to worry about session prep or any of that stuff, and just enjoy their characters and have fun. And to be honest with you, oh yeah, you should be trying to bribe the DM with snacks and compliments and tips. No, honestly, pretty much almost every session I've gone to, long-term games, I either, made sure I tipped the DM or gave them a gift at some point, just like a thank you. I was in a couple of games last year that lasted a few months, you know, that were like a half a year for one and like a year for another. And I gave both those DMs gifts around the holidays and stuff. Like, I definitely saw value in what they were offering and providing. And yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of like you tip your super or your mailman or your garbage man type situation. Like, I don't know. I definitely think it can be worth it if you find a very good DM with all the, you know, material and stuff you're looking to do. Because then you just show up every month or every couple of weeks and sit down and play. You know what I mean? That's the main thing. But in my group, there is, you know, 3 people who have DM experience. 2 of them are forever DMs. So, I don't know. I think it's a good little combination of people who want to play but can't. So, kind of moving on from that, this map, absolutely amazing. Mondu shared this on our Discord and Steam Workshop. I think it's quite extraordinary. Beautiful piece of map. And it's actually, you know, a snow map, which we don't see too often. I threw the filter on, the color filter, because I just like making the snow scenery kind of extra snowy feeling. Or maybe you're like in a snow cave and some lights leaking through. That's awesome, Consummate Nerd. Oh, dang, Vince, your old DM has all your stuff still? That's so cool. Your old character sheets and stuff. So, is it Rusku? Sorry there if I butchered your name. The next damn challenge is window shopping. You can actually kind of see the theme as like a marquee across the stream here. Oh, why is it covering me, actually? Just notice that. The damn challenge stuff should not be wrapping around. Let me fix it. Oops, wrong. Gotta unlock it, move it just a little bit, and then shrink it. And then anyway, 9x6 was pretty good, yeah. Really good. Dinner in a dungeon, smart. So you just do like a potluck, like a Friendsgiving potluck every session. That's smart. Window shopping is whatever you want it to be. So you could do like a shopping, like a center, like a village center with like a bunch of different shops. You could do one particular shop, like a diorama. You could, you know, decorate one shop to the nines. Really, not a window shopping and these themes that we tie to the Damn Challenge. By the way, anyone tuning in, the Damn Challenge is a bi-weekly map making contest we host across our streams, our multi-stream, but primarily on our Discord. There's actually a channel on our Discord labeled Damn Challenge. And in that channel, you can see the past entries. You can see the rules pinned at the top. But essentially, every 2 weeks, we pick a theme and we challenge our community to use that theme as inspiration to make a map. Sometimes the challenge is extra refined and we say, oh, you got to make a map, you know, within a certain size constraint. So last time it was 9x6 or less. That's an 8.5x11 print or American letter. In the past, we've done like a 10x10 and other things. But we usually pick a 1 to 2 word theme, and usually size isn't an issue. You can make the map as small or as large as you want. Hey, Polaris, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. So if any of you are interested in participating in the Damn Challenge, you have between now and the end of the day in your time zone, 11:59:59 in your time zone on Friday the 13th. I know that's a weird day to end it, but that's when it ends. So if you make a map using window shopping as inspiration, you then submit that map to the Damn Challenge channel in Discord. There's some rules pinned at the top that you must follow to qualify. Other than that, it's quite simple to enter. Honestly, though, I loved your build, but I was so torn by that because you did exit the boundaries, and that was the kind of one, like, hard thing we set was, you know, use it within that. I loved your map, bro. Honestly, Swedish Cook, I feel so bad because it was a beautiful build, and it was definitely one of my top picks. But yeah, half the airship was, like, extended out, like, 5, 8 feet, 10 feet, something like that. And so there was just a good amount of the map outside of the map boundaries, and I was just a little torn there. So I hope you're not. Oh, you agree? Okay, good. Because I was a little. I felt bad, like because it was a beautiful build, bro. I need to add a command for the damn challenge into the bot here on sorry, on Twitch, so at least you get one of the links for free, and then you can copy off of that one. Atlam, I'm sorry, bud. I appreciate you being all over the place, though. So, apparently, let's read the excerpt for this map so we get like straight from the source. As you get to the end of the icy passage, a titanic dragon skull lies before you, on top of which is an icy throne. The room is well lit, as light from the outside reflects from another icy passage on the ceiling. You feel a piercing gaze as you step into the room. The end of some ruins, overtaken by a white dragon or some other ice-related entity. A place meant to host a final boss with certain level of terrain interactivity. Ice terrain, rocks and pillars for cover, big ice chunks, and the dragon skull add verticality should the players decide to climb or teleport on top of them. For my game, I plan to include treasure in descriptive form, but there's space to add visible treasure. Nice. Very nice. I like the excerpt for this. Map is solid. On export, it would be like this. Very, very clean. You could do some ice caves leading up to it, and this is just like a final encounter. You know, my son loves ESO. So, Vika, our next update will likely include some sort of tool that will do that. It is on the roadmap for this update, our development roadmap. That being said, I haven't seen any video or clips or anything of it yet, so it hasn't been made yet if it is being added. There are a few things in line with the next update. I mean, it's called Fun with Objects, so a lot of quality of life and features regarding object interactivity and workflow will be added. And so, for instance, one particular thing that I think, you know, some of you might find interesting is some of the improvements with the object brush. Some of you may have seen this, some of you may not. So I'll just share it for anyone who hasn't. You'll be able to create a brush from any object now, so to rapidly paint, you know, an object. Which is a big deal. And this works with objects from the workshop too. So you can download an object from the workshop and rapidly paint it. You know, a nudge tool would be amazing. I haven't heard anything about it, but, you know, I'll mention it and just see. I need to do a deep dive over the roadmap. So when I was looking at it, it's like half in like Belgian and half in English. And so I need to just translate the whole page, like, because you can do that from Chrome now and then just read it all. So, a few different quality of life things that are being added. One thing that's being added is a new type of light called an abstract light. And the abstract light is essentially a light that appears during the build, but is invisible upon export or in the first person or cinematic cameras. So it'll put a light source that's invisible, but you can still visibly see it while you're in the builder. Will what work with tokens? Painting tokens? Probably. I mean, they're objects technically. Another thing I've noticed in the update that they're working on, and some things they've added, there is a universal scaling button added to the object panel. So it's like a little, kind of like these scalers here, and it's added in the top left area of this menu. Excuse me, the object menu. Excuse me. Oh, coffee. Ooh, might need to start switching to decaf. Anyway, and what that does is you can set the universal scale of objects far smaller or far above average. And that means it defaults the object to a much higher size for all across the board. Instead of you having to one by one scale them up or scale them down, every object you pull from the menu will be scaled down or scaled up. Another thing I've seen, what else do we got? The decal function they were showing in Discord is actually quite cool. Here, I'll pull up an image of that. I don't have any video of it. I wanted to make a video of it, but sadly, my dev test build is crashing. I can't load in, so it doesn't work. But there's this new feature, it's like a stamp, essentially, that'll allow you to kind of paint like patterns and textures across different surfaces. So this is a great example of how this will work, because as you can see, this moss texture is not just on the floor. Normally when you want to put moss, you have like some moss objects you can place down. You kind of put them together as patchwork. Notice it's much more seamed and clean and natural, and it's growing up the wall and the books. This isn't wall moss, this, or ground moss. This is a moss stamp. There's moss on these books. Now this can work for a variety of different things. They're planning to do things like snow patches, so you could paint snow onto like trees and other objects, so it's kind of like snow thaw. So it could be like a normal season, but there's a bit of snow. There was one that was shown in the Discord that was like a bunch of etches on the wall, or no, yeah, hold on, let me find this one. Wim likes to share a few extra ones. So this is like notch marks on the wall. So like a prisoner would have these on the wall counting their days, right? Or, yeah, there's going to be a lot of different ones. Scratch marks, footsteps, probably, like a gouge or a hole, explosion, burn marks, all sorts of stuff. At least to start. And from what I'm not 100% on this, but there is a strong possibility you may be even able to import your own textures. Notice here, you also see snow. This is painted inside, and it's only in patches. You can either get all snow inside or no snow inside. If you remove the roof from the immersion roof, it'll allow it to snow inside like it's missing a roof or it's like a decrepit building. But here, you can actually see snow is painted around. This same thing would apply like the moss, painting it on the outside edges, or, like in, little hills or escarpments or whatever. You know what I mean? Oof, I just realized that my Steam chat was covered. Okay, got it uncovered. So, I mean, each of these are a great example of the new stamp tool. It paints all over surfaces, on flat, on the ground, on the wall, in angles, over different edges. Very, very powerful new tool. Unfortunately, I cannot show it off. I wish I could show more. I was going to make some video clips of it, but I cannot for now. Oh, like there, cat fur. Right on the edge of my nose. There it is. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can see that. It is long. Yes, it clearly in the demo I showed you was painted on objects. It was painted on the bookshelves, which are objects. Yep. Okay, let's open up another map, shall we? Oh, let's look at the airship one that Swedish Cook was talking about earlier, because this one was a dope build. I thought it was so clever. aside from it just being a slight rule breaker. This is an airship dock, which is... The verticality on this thing is insane, my friend. It's beautiful. I loved this right here. This was... Oh my gosh. Golden. You also put in all the detail of, like, vines and stuff. Yeah, I love my cat, but yeah, that's the one thing. It's always a little frustrating. I find fur everywhere. Right, Revan? Isn't this such a pretty map? Beautiful. I love it. It packs such a punch for the size. But at the end of the day, when I was looking it over on export, look at how much of it, even with no borders, is cut off of the map. So I, unfortunately, it kind of was a minor disqualification. Still showed off the map on stream. Beautiful map. I love it. 9x6. Honestly, I think you definitely utilize the space very well. Swedish Cook again, congratulations on this. This is just such... what I really was so proud of is this verticality. You have so much height you took advantage of. You made all the rock walls and stuff look really good. The whole docking area, just this whole thing looks sick. Just a little too big. But other than that, it's a beautiful map. So my dog doesn't have fur, he has hair. I have like a doodle. And so they don't technically have fur, it's hair. So his hair is a little bit more manageable and easy. When we brush him, it just comes right out if it's problematic. Cat fur, those sheds everywhere, right? Hey, Highland Lass, how are you? Welcome back. Such a good build. But bro, I doed for you so hard. I was like, no! Because it was just like a little cut off and I'm like, no! Winter tired, you're like in hibernation mode. Honestly, like humans like weren't designed to operate in the winter months. We were supposed to like just chill out in a cave and hope our supplies lasted all winter and tend to the fire and sleep, right? I think bears have the right idea. Tuck yourself away in a den and just don't deal with anyone for a few months. We could learn a lot from bears. Well, I mean, technically, human hair and like animal fur are very different, right? The texture, the consistency, the thickness. Hey, Vanyakos, long time no see, my friend. I hope you're well. Miss you around these parts, brother. How's all the music store stuff? Didn't you say you're managing several shops now, too? Last we spoke? Turtles have the best system. I'm not even sure what that means, but I'll take your word for it, Revan. 17 stores? Oh my goodness. That's insane. I hope they're paying you the big bucks, my man. Running 17 music stores, especially like just right around when the school year starts, has to be a nightmare, I bet. Like every store is just renting like crazy, you know, doing stuff like that, right? So Revan says, turtles have the best system. They bury deep underground and just shed everything off for the winter. I mean, yeah, you don't have to deal with anyone. You just kind of like hide out in the mud. Hey, Stratus, welcome back. Troutfoot, bruh. Scarlet Watch, you bought DA? I am so happy to hear you're enjoying it. And first, and thank you for supporting us during the sale. And I'm glad you got it on the deal. And welcome officially to the Dam Fam. Or I guess Damnation, whatever you want to be. Do you want to be in the Dam Fam or Damnation or both? I let everyone choose. Oh, Troutfoot. Is it going to be one of those days? Both of them are pretty good, Vika. But Damnation is kind of like a play on it because it sounds like Hellfire and Damnation, or two different words, D-A-M, Dam, Nation, like country. So it kind of has a play, you know, it's, what do they call those? A double entendre? It has a couple plays there. So the other one, Dam Fam, just, you know, it rhymes, it rolls off the tongue, short, simple. Oh, Cyber, was that you that asked about the export for Foundry for animated maps? Yeah, that was me that replied to you. Oh my gosh. There are tons of dams in the US. Many of them poorly or not maintained anymore. They have these type of like low dams. They're incredibly dangerous. They're all over the US. So multi-level and multi-story is in the next update with, you know, room generation. Here, let me throw on a video so you can check that out. 1 second. In fact, you haven't seen this at all, so there's quite a bit going on. Throw this on for a minute on a loop. Oh, and we got a guest. Zimar! Hey, puppy.
Here's puppy.
Oh, the towel? It is green, huh? But the next update will include room generation with multi-level. There'll be balconies, mezzanines, you know, patios. You can generate underground and above ground. You can combine the two or do them independently. One thing I can tell you, Vika, is hold shift when you place the object, because it'll automatically duplicate it. That'll speed it up quite a bit, so that way you don't have to, like, if you just hold shift while you're pressing, like when you click the object down. Oh no, Vanyakos, that's sad. Oh goodness. Well, thank you for supporting us, Cyber. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And by the way, throughout the stream, any of our new viewers or old viewers, just want to point out these streams are hosted in AMA format, which means ask me anything. So as long as it's related to Dungeon Alchemist, feel free to ask questions. If you have feedback, suggestions, inquiries, support needs, let me know, and I will guide you live on the stream so you can watch and learn in real time. Hey, Aurora, how you doing? Right now, stay focused. Love you. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Sooner than later, you will have that tool. The next update will definitely improve workflow a lot. Okay, let's show another clip really quick, shall we? So for those just tuning in, we're showing clips, teasers from our next update. There's a lot of things that are being added in the next update. A lot of these clips, by the way, are alpha, beta footage, so anything wonky or missing textures, floating, overlapping, that's why. But multi-level structures, you'll be able to generate each floor, fill them in automatically with our proprietary procedural generation. Or you can generate them empty and fill in everything by hand. You can transition between the floors. There's a new button that's added over on this side of the menu. It's cut off in this video, but it basically has an up arrow and a down arrow, and it shows a number of which floor you're on, and you can click on the up or down arrow, or you can use the plus and minus hotkeys on your keyboard to transition between those spaces. So more than likely the exports for this type of system will be every level exports as a single layer. So let's say you had 2 towers right next to each other. It would export level 1 on each tower as a single map and the exterior, and then level 2, level 3, level 4. Basically, each level will have to be exported as a separate map, which would be then a scene in your virtual tabletop, or you could lay them on top of each other if they were printed or whatever. Now, the reason we're going this method is because it's the most straightforward method to work with the most virtual tabletops at the same time. Very simply put, all VTTs have like a scene system, and the majority of VTTs don't support multi-level yet. So basically what we'll do is each level will be its own separate map. Oh, by the way, good news with that. We're actually developing a tool to go with this, a batch exporter. So one of our developers, Quentin, who was a guest on the stream a few weeks ago, he is working on a new tool that will speed up the export process. I'm going to pair with him and share some community insight and feedback, because there's been quite a bit of feedback as to how we can speed up the export process, especially if you want to export, say, day, night, different DPIs, animated, non-animated, gridded, gridless, snow, no snow. Maybe you're exporting maps for sale for like a Patreon, so you need to do Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, and Roll20 and above VTT. You know what I mean? So it would speed it up if you had a mass exporter that you could maybe check a bunch of options and then just click go, and it'll do one map at a time until it's done. So Vanyakos, quite a bit of new stuff related to multi-level and object interactions. Here, let me show you some ceilings. So the walls are getting like a riser and extension. No idea. I don't know exactly what aspects of... So I'm just saying what I think might be part of the batch exporter. I don't know what's going to be in it. I'm going to have to pair with them and see. Who knows exactly what it'll be, but more than likely FFmpeg. By the way, the devs are aware of the Fantasy Grounds issue, but I think they're just waiting to patch it out with the update. I don't know. So, Creighton on TikTok asks, how do I get this? Creighton, Dungeon Alchemist is the name of the program. It's available on Steam. You can follow the link in our profile that goes to our website, and then there's links for our Steam page, and you can find out more information about Dungeon Alchemist there. But on Steam, we have a free demo, so you can kind of try Dungeon Alchemist out, see what it's about. It is a map-making utility to allow you to build maps and, immersive environments that you can capture and top down for immersive TTRPG gameplay through systems like D&D or Pathfinder. Additionally, you can explore the maps in first person or with our cinematic drone camera, which allows you to take screenshots or video and then give it to your players as like a cutscene or a handout. Unfortunately, Vika, there really isn't. The method is order of operations. Don't put the bigger object by the smaller object until you're ready. Essentially, a lot of objects, especially objects from the workshop, have, let's say it's a large object, they'll have big colliders. Every object has like an invisible shape tied to it that tells Dungeon Alchemist its rough size. If it's an object from the workshop, the colliders on them were just kind of put on, generated at random, or especially most users don't really change the colliders. They just kind of go with the random generated, like the ones that fit it the best that were generated by DA. Alternatively, though, you can go through and adjust the colliders and make them more precise when you're uploading an object. So some creators will make them great, but others leave them huge. And so it's got like an invisible barrier or wall that you can't see, but that's the area to grab the object, and it's overriding the object near it. Yep, but check it out. We have a major update launching in just a few months, which will include, generation for ceilings and multi-floor with our room generation tools, so it'll speed up the multi-level process. Right now, multi-level is accomplished entirely by hand or by just pilfering work off the workshop that somebody else did for you. So multi-level, as you can clearly see, is possible. It's not like someone has access to a mod or a beta. They're using the exact same tool you have right now. They're just using all of the abilities within Dungeon Alchemist to their advantage. So I'm going to show you really quickly. This map here, for instance, is a 4-story wizard tower. I built this entirely from scratch, and I built it on the streams so people could watch and follow along and learn from it. But with this particular building, pretty much every aspect of it was done by hand, and I used objects to build it. I didn't use the room builder, which is kind of counterintuitive a little bit, but the room building tool only generates rooms at at like the base level of the building. You can't generate another one on top of it yet, not until the next update. So if you are starting with this, you can lay down like the base floor, but everything above it needs to be done by hand. How do you do that? You use a few tools that are built right into Dungeon Alchemist. So under the object panel, you have this toggle here that says collisions. Some of you may have never ever even clicked on this. This is one of the most powerful tools in Dungeon Alchemist. It's highly underrated, and it is incredibly powerful. Not only does it allow you, as we were talking about colliders earlier, when colliders are on, objects they'll get close to each other and they'll say no, they can't be close to each other. Do you see those red UI? If colliders are off, you can merge objects much closer to each other, right? Make new objects by combining them. Now I use this concept to kind of build this tower in tandem with a couple other features that are unlocked when you disable collisions. The other features that are enabled is you can scale objects far below their normal size or far above. When collisions are disabled, you have essentially unlocked scaling. The only exception would be objects that were locked to begin with. Additionally, this little arrow appears, and it allows you to raise objects up and down. So, by disabling collisions, I get access to merge objects together, resize them pretty much indiscriminately, and raise them up and down. So using that to my advantage, I started building this tower. When building something of this scope and scale, especially by hand, you got to use an order of operations, okay? You probably wouldn't want to start from the top down. You start from the bottom up, okay? Now, how I did that is I went into the object menu and I went to structural. We have thousands of objects between what's stock and what's available on the Steam Workshop, available to anyone with a full copy of Dungeon Alchemist. You can download 3D models from the workshop to supplement your builds or even surpass what you can do in Dungeon Alchemist with the stock objects. So I grabbed one of these. That was my floor. This is the base floor of this house, and I'll show you that in a bit. Notice right now, it seems to be moving freely. I actually held control to make sure when I put the floor down, it snapped into place on a snap point. This is important, and we'll get to that later, but snapping allows every object that is a similar size to snap to a same point above it. So that works when you're trying to line up the floors one above the other. So I started with the base floor, and then I put walls on it. We have some round walls right here, and there's a few more on the workshop. I'm gonna hold shift, control. I'm just gonna throw the walls on here just as an example. But in about 20 seconds, I made the base floor. You could attach some lights. You can fill it with decorations. Boom. Now, to really succeed on this build, I paired with a creator in our community who was here earlier. I don't know they're here now. Von Yakos. No, Von Yakos, yeah, you're saying collisions off? Yes, collisions off is very powerful. So the creator who made some of the assets that helped me with this, it was actually Swedish Cook. Sorry, I said Von Yakos' name at exactly the wrong time. But if you look in here, there's wooden floor assets and tower building assets. We have a whole collection of assets put together by Swedish Cook that supplement building towers, upward verticality, floors with holes in them, banisters, stairs that fit them, etc. Walls and windows and doors and stuff like that. Okay? So you can download this whole pack, and it really helps if you're building a tower. Next. Let's pull this apart here. I have collisions disabled. I'm going to grab the roof. This roof, actually, is available on the workshop. My wife made this. Mrs. Mack made this. I actually drew what I wanted and told her kind of what I wanted. And then she put it all together in... She sculpted it in... She has a couple sculpting apps on her tablet, on her iPad. Nomad Sculpt is what she made it in, and then she painted it in Procreate. Notice it's got like a weather vane and like a wire running down, and then there's a hole for this observatory for the telescope. That's all part of the plan. The fourth floor is the observatory. Everything in this room is stacked on the fourth floor's wooden beams right here, this floor piece. So I can move it as a singular piece. This is really smart. Everything that's on top of one object can be moved as a single object. It can be scaled as a single object, and it can be raised and lowered as a single object. So I use that to my advantage. I kind of just raised it over, snapped it into place above the floor below, and then I lowered it into place until it looked like it fit. So essentially it was like I'm a crane, and I'm just putting it into place like a prefabbed room right on top of it. Each of these rooms can be pulled out, separated, and individually, pulled apart, kind of like Legos or blocks or like a dollhouse. And you can see individual levels. I could delete each of these levels one at a time. Oops, deleted a rock. Let's start with this one. Hit delete, it deletes everything that was in that room that was touching it. Or I can undo it with Control Z. So each of these floors interacts with each other, and you can navigate between them with a token even. Let me grab a token, I'll show you. So we have our token menu here. I really like the cat wizard. I don't know why. The feline wizard. I like to think that the mouse in his hat is actually kind of like a Remy, like a Ratatouille. And the rat is actually the wizard, not the cat. Swedish genius. Yeah, he is quite smart. Oops, I went into first person. Okay, so go into first person here. Nomad Sculpt. It is available on the iPad, and I believe it's like $30 unless it's on sale or it's cheaper nowadays. But it's a very nice app. There's a whole bunch of tutorials to walk you through using it online, but she uses an Apple Pencil and does all sorts of sculpting. But look at the inside. There's shingles. There's a wire that she ran up through the top to the thing, the weather vane. And I knew we had objects in DA that make these electrical arcs. So I used that to my advantage. We got these two little like Tesla coil batteries, like arcane batteries. And then over here, the node for where the electricity comes in. And then a switch to turn it all on. And then it's just like now you have power for this massive telescope and all the cool arcane devices in here. The Starcatcher scope and whatnot. Now, go down to the 3rd floor, totally traversable, able to walk down the stairs and back up, because there is a hole in the collider here. The creator made sure that there was a space that you could go through with the token. This is a stock staircase, but the floors, banisters, this ceiling, that floor piece, that is from that pack I showed you a bit ago. 3rd floor, we've got, little like getaway area for the wizard to relax, his bath, his bed. There's Seymour, the puppy I was holding earlier on my lap. And then of course some of his magical treasures and his wardrobe and gear and like loot from past adventures. A mini map would be a great idea. I have written that down as something that I would love to see added, and I recommend, if it's not already, someone get it on the upvote so people could see it and upvote it. But the next time I have a sit-down meeting with the devs, I plan to bring it up. I don't think it'll be added in Fun with Objects, but they'll likely add it to the backlog. What a mini map would do is just like in like RTS games, like a top-down game where you have a huge map of an area. You can click that area, any area on the mini map, and it automatically jumps the camera there. Helps a lot. Now, I will say this, to speed up your camera, though, David, you can get across a 150 by 150 map in like 3 clicks. You just right-click, drag. It goes across really quick. So that is the fastest way to get across a large map currently. That or, the cinematic camera, you can press shift in either first person or cinematic, and it does like a sprint, like a speed mode. But yeah, that doesn't necessarily move you across the map. Let's see here. But Swedish Cook was building these assets as I was building this map from scratch. And he paired with me and he's like, yeah, let's make these work. And we were testing out the colliders on the stream live for the stairs and these little hatchways to make sure it was navigable as it could be. It was quite cool to work with him on that and see this come to light in real time. So here we have the study library area where the wizard can do his various alchemy experiments and spell experiments. Then you go down to the bottom level, which is the hearth and kitchen. The only part of this build I am kind of ashamed at myself with is the door. Because when I built this, there was no way to build round rooms with doors on them in DA. That just wasn't an option yet. Now you can build round rooms natively with the room generation, and it puts doors and windows on it. It's very intuitive. So I made an immersive door with like a gate. We'll show the outside in a minute. It looks really good. I don't think any player would question it. You know what I mean? And if they did, I'd be like, you just got killed randomly. I don't know how. It was weird. The weirdest thing happened. Your deity disapproves. No, I'm just kidding. There's a hatch here as well for an escape tunnel that I'll show you when we leave the house. So the door in the front, I put a little 2x2 room, or like a 1x2 room on the outside here. And then I just attached a door on it. So there is a door here, and there's like a little entryway, but then there's no other door there. Speaking of which, I probably should just... I have my own doors, right? Under... Yeah. I could probably just grab, like, this one. Those colliders are so close there. It's like quickly overlap, so I only get one chance. There we go. Pretty good. Not the end of the world, and I could put one of those inside if I wanted to. By the way, I'm going to update this on the workshop so it reflects that door being inside. Very easy to do. You just go to, while you're in the map that you opened from the workshop, you hit Update Published Map. So you open the map first from Open Published Map, make the changes, and then hit Update Published Map, and then hit Update. And it'll send that updated version of the map to the workshop, so anyone who had it will automatically get an update the next time they open DA. That is the only way to update an existing map on DA. Currently, you cannot do like you can't update the map offline and then upload it over it. Unfortunately, there's no way to do that. It'll just create a whole new map on the workshop if you do that. Anyway, moving on. That is how multi-store is accomplished. Essentially, stacking things like blocks and Legos and using a lot of patience and elbow grease. I hope that explained that. By the way, this stream will be up as a VOD tomorrow, so if you're struggling with the concept, you can always just come and open the video and watch it again. Or you can drop in our Discord and ask some questions. Get some assistance. Yep. If not myself or our moderator team or another staff member, typically one of the very amazingly smart and helpful community members who has, spent a ton of time in DA will, jump in and help. There's quite a few community members who love to assist anytime they can. There's some passionate community members who have easily 1,000 to 2,000 hours in DA, so they know it up and down and can speak to it. Mondu, I was looking at your map earlier, man. That one with the dragon, that one was really cool. We were looking at it on stream. David Larson, write down a note, put it next to your computer, and then just say, Max said to rewatch the damn stream so I know how to do multi-level, or something like that. We're here to look at the tapestries. We don't have any customizable tapestries, but you could easily just import tapestries into DA using an abstract or something akin to that. So there are also probably some on the workshop. Let's see. Tapestries. I believe we might be adding some in the next update, but there's a few here. And then there are objects in Dungeon Alchemist that are customizable, like these ones called abstracts, right? So, something like this, customizable wall piece. You could insert a disable collisions here, insert a tapestry image into this. There's also this just flat one, and you could split a tapestry up into 3 pieces, like in a photo editor. If it's a long, wall piece, and then just put a section of it in each one, a third, and then put them together. So, Sogrum, abstracts are a special object category under Dungeon Alchemist in the object menu. And the abstracts are these green objects. These are customizable in a lot of ways. You can insert custom images into them. By the way, when you place them down, they have all these UI elements. You can change the color of it. Or you can go to our website, which opens up when you click that icon. And there's all these templates for each one of the different abstract objects. Each one of these is a template. So this one's for the cube. This one's for a wall. This one's for the disc. This one's for a plane. Each one of them slightly different looking, but what these are is essentially an opportunity for you to customize that object's exterior surfaces. Each of these is a template. Think of them like a stencil You know, if you're ever painting and you've used a stencil, you cover the paper or whatever you're painting with a stencil, and the stencil blocks out all the areas you don't want paint to get through, right? And then you can spray paint or you can draw into the stencil, and it goes right through the stencil in those spots. So think of the green space as the safe space of the stencil, and everything outside of it is just dead space. You could leave it as blank, or it won't even be recognized if it's outside of this green area. And notice the green area is labeled. Okay, so it says top, bottom, side, 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 side. So you can use that to your advantage and make custom objects. Like I use this to make a dynamite box. It looked like a big cube of like dynamite from like Fortnite, or not Fortnite, from Minecraft. This one here, you can make customizable doors and walls. These you can make customizable floor pieces, or maybe magic circles, or, you know, a custom round rug. These are to make custom floor pieces for the corners. So essentially, if you have even like an iota of ability to do any type of graphic design or photo editing, you could definitely start making custom textures or images that can be on these abstract objects. So this vertical plane, if it were me doing a tapestry, tapestries are usually wide rectangle shapes, right? So you would take the rectangle shape into a photo editor and you would break it up into even amounts. Something that's like, you know, like in this case, I think it's 512 like pixels wide, because this entire image here is 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. That's the entire template. But the inside of it, this inner piece, is 512 wide by 1024 tall. So you essentially would put 1/3 or 1/5 of the tapestry in this one, and you just keep doing it over and over again until you have them all, and then you could just stitch them right next to each other. Or alternatively, you could find a 3D model of like a tapestry, or make a 3D model and then use the asset importer. Excuse me. The asset importer allows you to import 3D models. Those tapestries that are on the workshop, those were imported here. So if you know how to craft a 3D model, sculpt one to any degree, or you know how to source them online, if you can locate something that's like a Creative Commons license model, especially older tapestries that are like art ones that have been around for hundreds of years, there's likely scans of them that are open to the public and free to use for personal use, or Creative Commons use as long as you credit the creator properly through a like linking their creation or whatever. You could import the asset to Dungeon Alchemist and keep it as a local usable asset only to you, or you could share it on the workshop if you created it and feel like sharing it, or properly credit the creator. Keep in mind, not anything you find on the internet you can just upload and use and share on the workshop. There's assets on there now that are definitely questionable, copyright infringement stuff that, you know, that Steam not only warns you about when you sign up and create, agree to their terms of service, but also reminds you of when you start uploading assets. So essentially, be careful with what you're uploading. I would definitely stray away from major companies' IPs and their, copyrights, trademarks, because you could get your account shut down or worse, or get your, suspended or worse. You could do that, David, it's fine, but keep it in your local collection. Don't share it publicly, especially if you're using people's IP or their identity, This map's good. I really like how it just fits my whole screen. We can hide the UI. This just looks like a screensaver or something. All right, I need to take a quick break. I just want to get up and stretch my leg. It's kind of hurting a little bit. My sciatica's flaring up, and I'm going to top off my water. While I do that, I'm going to run a kind of longer Dungeon Alchemist related ad. Oh, quick question for those watching on Twitch. Do you get ads from Twitch when you watch on Twitch? Hey, see you, Mondu. Because I was recently brought to my attention that you might be getting ad rolls while we're streaming, and I thought we wouldn't be getting those because we're not. Gotcha. Yeah, I pay for Nitro too, so I never notice, and I didn't even think about it. But the thing is we're not affiliated on Twitch or partnered. We did that intentionally because once you're affiliated, you have ad rolls. You have to do like once an hour, so many minutes, and I don't really care for that. Hey Nina, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Yeah, someone mentioned to me that we might have ads on our thing now, but I don't think that's the case. Yeah, we definitely like intentionally stopped applying for affiliate once we realized it would cause ads. And also at the time their affiliate agreement meant we couldn't stream anywhere else, so we were just like, nope, we're going to be multi-streaming. Well, thank you for the info there, Twitch. Much appreciated, much appreciated. So I'm going to run that quick Dungeon Alchemist related commercial, and then when I get back, we'll get right into it. Sorchin, the multi-level update is looking like Q1 of next year, so sometime after the new year. I will just say this, like, this multi-level, this was done by hand. This was done with the current build of Dungeon Alchemist that you have available to you right now on your computer. So it is possible to build multi-level. You just gotta, roll up your sleeves a little bit and dive into the object menu and start stacking stuff up, sort of like you're building Legos. It just takes a little bit more work. It's not an automatic generated thing. So the first level you can do, but everything above that, it has to be done by hand. So like these walls here, these are just objects that were placed in. You can disable collisions and take these walls and snap them in. And, why is it all of a sudden fighting me? There we go. Either way. So, Sorchin, I'm just letting you know, if you want to try it, you can do it right now. And there's tons of examples on the workshop. Hop on there. There is multi-level for days. Like, just even on the front page. There was one earlier that was like a desert map. Where is it? Huh. Sorry. This one has multi-level. There was a desert map that we were looking at earlier that also had multi-level. Why am I not able to see it all of a sudden? Anyway, there's multi-level all over. You just got to browse through it a little bit and you can find some examples of it. But I will tell you this, it does take a little bit more work. As it's not guided by our automatic AI. So at the end of the day, it's just not something that is as intuitive. But the next update will definitely solve that. So hopefully, in short order, you'll be able to... Was it on? Oh, that's where it is. This one right here is a multi-level. It has like this whole walkway and a towers and stuff. Yeah, there's lots of examples of multi-level on the workshop. I mean, I just literally was showing a multi-level tower on stream for like 10 minutes. It is, you don't know how to build floors? Oh, quite simple. Just you find an object that'll work as a floor. So under structural, they have these things called platforms. There's stone platforms, there's wooden platforms. So let's say we wanted a bit of a floor, like right here. I'm gonna snap that in. If you have collisions off, objects can merge closer to each other, and you can raise them up and down, scale them far above and below their normal parameters. So I just held shift to duplicate, and control to snap into place. And just like that, we built us a little upper balcony here. Problem being, though, is it completely cuts off the bottom part of the map, so you would essentially have to export two versions of the map, one with the top floor and one with the lower floor. But there are stone platforms, there's wood platforms, there's round, there is all sorts, there's ones with legs. Very, very possible to build multi-level. You just got to get a little tricky, get a little crafty. And like I said, the maps on the workshop, if you're running into like a bit of a headache trying to figure this out, open up a map from the workshop, take a look at what they did. You can always reverse engineer their work and look at each of the items, because all the items tell you, oh, that's what this is called with the tooltip. Now you know. And you could quickly kind of deduce exactly what they did for their build. So I hope that guides you a little bit there, Sorchin. Problem is, you can't search by name on the workshop. You'd have to find one of Von Yakos's maps and then go to his page. It's really difficult to sort by name on the workshop unless the creator put their username in the description. If Von Yakos had updated a map in like the last few days, I could find one of them. You cannot search by user unless the user put their name in the description. That is a Steam thing. That has nothing to do with us. So basically, the search terms are only the title and the description. Those are the only things that are searchable. So some creators that make a lot of maps, they'll put their username in the description. That way it can be searched. But that's the only way, unfortunately. Excalibur, can you expand upon that question? What do you mean by custom ceiling height? Are you meaning you want to have like a vaulted ceiling where there's like maybe stairs going up to like a balcony or other levels and you can see down below? Yes, you can definitely do that in the next update. I have asked the devs if they would add searching by username, because I'm wondering if it's something we can do through like an API pull through Steam. But as of right now, the Steam's native search does not do that. I'm wondering if even we could just offer like a tab in the workshop menu that like once you're browsing, maybe if you click on a creator, you could click Geronimo right here, right? And then it would open up all Geronimo's maps or something. That would be great, in my opinion. But right now, we don't really have anything like that. I am still just as confused on that question. So as you can clearly see in this video here, we have vaulted ceilings raised above the normal height. You have balconies, you have mezzanines, all of these things working in tandem. You could have a huge vaulted room with a massive ceiling. Will the ceilings at the beginning be able to be like domed or arced? Probably not. They'll mostly be flat. Well, the thing is, on the workshop, Atlam, you can sort, like you can go to the user's page and see all their creations. So we should just add an ability to click the user's name and then it just sorts all their maps and assets in one big thing that you could just go page by page. It just should be like an interface option for the workshop to make it a little bit smoother. Sorry, we're jumping between several conversations right now. So if you look at this video, it's a great example of like a raised ceiling. So you could build like a 5-story tower and cut out all the floors and it would just be one big tall room. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if what I'm saying is actually making any sense, but yes, you can separate. You could delete this whole second floor and make this room, this area above in this clip, be the second floor. As I stated, you can delete areas out, have no floor, balconies, and then just go up till that's the second floor. However, you wouldn't have a staircase or anything that would transition to it, because most of our stuff only transitions between one floor to the next, not 5 floors up if you're making a new floor up there instead. So you are making things a little bit more difficult for yourself by doing that, but yeah, it is possible. You can clear out the floor from each room and just delete it, and then it would just be super tall, one room, one floor, or you could go up like 4 floors, delete all the floors out, and make that 4th floor the second floor. Technically, it's the second floor at that point because you made it the second floor. That's how houses work. So yeah, that is definitely quite possible in the next update. Sorry for the confusion there. Just the way you asked the question, I wasn't 100% certain what you were meaning. Like, I mean, you can clearly see in the video and even here in the old build, the current build, this ceiling is 3 walls high. So yes, it is possible to do that even now. You just stack things up. In the next build, it'll be very similar. It's just you generate multiple floors and then you delete the floors from that room. So it essentially now is just a big hollow space like this going upward. And then up here, you could put another floor, right? And then that would technically be the second floor if you wanted to build on top of that. It just would be 3 walls high or whatever. So yes, it is possible. However, each wall section kind of has its own height, and then it'll add a new wall section and a new wall section. It won't just be one clean piece of wall if you extend it up 30 feet. It'll be 3 sections of wall, and then you could have a new floor or a 4th floor or whatever. So yes, possible, but beyond like, you know, a couple of floors or a few, you know, like balcony levels, I'm not sure exactly the use case. I'd love to hear more about what you're trying to do, Excalibur, or wanting to do. So let me pull up the workshop so I can show you what I mean. When you're in the workshop looking at someone's stuff, like at a map, you could click here instead and then go to their workshop and see all of their maps and all of their assets if they've uploaded any, right? So in this case, not that many assets. Here we go to this one here. Let's check out Mr. Salami's workshop. Only the one. But if we went to, say, somebody else, like maybe Sack here. Let's click on his. Click on Sack's workshop. It is literally filled. It's got 176 pages worth. So technically, or 53 pages at 30 entries a page, we could somehow create some kind of interface within DA's browse section that is like either browse by user, or maybe if you click on the user name, then it opens up their collection, you know? So you could just see all of their things. So it would go to their list only. I don't know if we could ever make a search by user because the Steam interface doesn't search that as a meta tag or a data thing. So as of right now, I would say the only way is short of just putting it in the description or us coming up with a workaround within DA for browsing it. This building here. Yeah, I was going to take a break, but then questions kept coming in, so I got distracted. Honestly, a quick break is like not the end of the world if I don't get it. So I guess I could do it. Thank you for the reminder. Should probably take care of myself, huh? We'll go explore this insanely beautiful multi-level cathedral that was built entirely by hand in an update like a year ago. As of right now, Excalibur, it's exactly how I told you it would be. There is no method for extending the floors built into it as far as I know. And most of the multi-floor builds and tools for it is done at this point and is in testing. So I don't think they'll be adding something like that to say you want the next level to be 3 levels high. If anything, if they did add something like that, it would be down the road. You know, maybe an update to the feature as it gets refined and tested by our community and we get more feedback. One thing I can recommend, when the update launches, you know, and we know for sure what it will entail and what it won't, at that point, if that feature is not available, you can then put up a suggestion on our upvote. Our upvote is our community roadmap and suggestion board. Everyone in our community can make suggestions there, and suggestions can be upvoted and commented on. Typically, the more comments and upvotes something gets, the more visibility it gets, and the more likely the devs will consider implementing it. Though it's not a straight democracy, not everything is possible or probable. Things that are recommended aren't always within the scope of our ability as a 10-man team with limited resources and time. But many things that have been asked and suggested heavily on the workshop, or on the not on the workshop, but on the Upvote website, have actually been implemented that were never planned. Like multi-level that we're adding in our next update was something that was never planned, but we're implementing it due to community request. So it was something that was never even promised on our Kickstarter, but we're adding it due to community request. This map is why you're not uploading anything. I mean, I wouldn't let somebody else's work deter you from uploading anything. If anything, just let it inspire you. I mean, the fact that this is possible in Dungeon Alchemist just stock is phenomenal. It's awe-inspiring. Hey, Excalibur, sorry if there was a little bit of confusion there. More than anything, I was just like, yeah, it does do it. And then we kind of just kept circling back. So I apologize if I seemed a little crass there. Ultimately, though, the feature is still, you know, it's not out yet. So it remains to be seen what it'll be like. And I've only played with it a little bit in our dev alpha build. So it's possible when it launches, it'll be different. But for right now, you generate each floor one at a time. If you want to, you know, make that floor be a hollow, you know, balcony space or vault it up to the next floor, then you have to delete that section manually. There's no method, as far as I'm aware, to generate that floor as just vaulted already. If there is, I have not seen it or I've missed it. And if it's in development, I'm not aware of it. I've not seen it on our roadmap. So as far as that goes, it sounds like a valid suggestion, but right now it seems too early to even try and add it to the upvote, because it could be added or even considered, or it is maybe something they're developing on the back end that I have no idea, because I don't get to see that deep into the build. You know what I mean? Man, this place makes my garden look dumb. Platform. Okay, let's do that break real quick. We'll zoom out here and get a good view of this just amazing cathedral map. And I will be right back. Stand by.
Dungeon Alchemist is an AI-powered map-making application that allows you to make amazing maps in just a few clicks. You can then easily print these maps and use them in your role-playing games. Or you can import them into your favorite VTT with walls and lights configured for you. Here's how it works. First, choose a terrain for your map. Then, pick a theme. How about an old-school crypt? Or maybe an abandoned mansion? Just start drawing rooms. And Dungeon Alchemist will place all the walls, floors, doors, objects, and lights for you. Each new room is generated on the fly and is completely unique. Yeah, we do all the grunt work for you, so you can focus on creating. Changed your mind? No problem. Swap out the theme of an entire room with a single click. Is it a garden? Nope, it's a hovel. And now it's a tent. Everything in Dungeon Alchemist can be adjusted. Release your interior decorator and go wild. Recolor potions. Mess with the light. Set the house ablaze. In Dungeon Alchemist, you are the artist. Bring in your own content and really personalize your world. Dungeon Alchemist comes with thousands of unique assets, each lovingly crafted to suit your adventuring needs. Create a glowing mushroom forest. Light up your abandoned temple, or stuff your room to the brim with pillows. Build an entire world in seconds and reshape reality to your heart's content. Once you're happy, bring your world to life and explore your map through your player's eyes. Come along with us and let Dungeon Alchemist upgrade your role-playing experience to the next level. Dungeon Alchemist cannot be held responsible for any bodily harm, injury, loss of limb or loved ones, poisoning, curses, level drain, elongated limbs or toenails, death or undeath your players may experience from their character's use of this product.
Mic is muted. Got it. David, I was gonna say to you, I don't think these buildings need to be up to code or structurally sound per se. To any sort of normal standard. So I mean, if you notice, none of these buildings have roofs for the most part. I'm just giving you crap. But honestly, I'm very excited for the next update. There's going to be so much new stuff, and I know y'all are going to be super impressed with it. Just roofing alone is going to change how you interact with Dungeon Alchemist. Oh, this video clip is good. You see these little floating orbs that kind of like hexagon balls? Those are actually the new abstract lights we were talking about earlier, and I didn't know I had a clip with them in it. So basically they're visible while you're building the map, but when you export, they're invisible. Or while you're in first person or cinematic camera, they're invisible, but they shed light in those areas. Pretty cool, huh? They're like, wait, is this torch really lit, or is this a continual flame? Code 76-423A.6 says that all flames in a dungeon must be continual flames so as not to be a fire hazard. What do you mean, David? The lights already allow variations of color. All lights do, and so the abstract lights will fall under that same thing. You can change the color, the brightness of the light. Yes. So this will just be a normal light in the aspect that you can change the color of what it broadcasts. So like right here is a blue one, that one's orange, but it's invisible as a light, the light housing. So the like a torch is visible. You can actually see the torch, like these lights, these sensors, but these will be invisible in the export. So it can add lighting to an area without adding a light source. I hope that makes sense. It's a weird concept, but that's why they're called an abstract light. Alrighty, closing that. Yes, you'll be able to make sublayers. You can do entire, like, underground dungeons now if you wanted to. You could just have, like, a little tower on top and, like, tons of subfloor underneath. It's quite cool, actually. You can add up and down. I feel like I mentioned that earlier, but I also was testing in my particular dev build like a week or so ago, and I was able to make like a 14-story tower that had like 7 or 8 floors above and then a bunch below, like 6 or 7 below. And then I had like a round tower going up, like the same shape. It went underground as a couple levels as round, but then I had offshoot like hallways and other areas. Got quite crazy. I'll be honest, my build is broken right now. I can't even play with it. For the last few updates, it's just been bricked. Bums me out. The other day I went to load into it and it wouldn't work, and I was like, no. And then I told Aranis about it, and this one's from Norman Dye, and it's called the Grand Cathedral. Arguably one of the most epic maps on the workshop. No, there was an update. So we have a back-end like automated updater we call Bob the Builder. And the devs send their build to it through a Git repository, and then Bob patches all that together for a Steam build for me. And it's like automated, so it's really cool. They kind of upload everything to like a Git cloud, and then it creates a build and uploads it to Steam where I can access it and play with it. But when I try to install the dev build, DA installs, it'll load. You know, the first screen where it shows Hendrik for a second while it's loading, and then it goes to like the black kind of dark parchment screen behind that, and then that's it. It just sits there. I let it sit for like 10-20 minutes the other day. Nothing. Tried it last night after they did their update for yesterday. Bob put out an update at like 9 p.m. Nothing. Does not work. Yeah, so essentially, Bob the Builder's designed in a way that it automatically creates a build for me to save the dev's time. It's really neat. But apparently they got this machine dedicated to doing builds, because it used to take our lead dev like half the day to do the build on his computer. So they do all the development stuff, and then they'd start having the build go like be stitched together, and it would take forever. So basically got a dedicated computer that automatically uploads it to Steam. So it's really streamlined and efficient. But I mean, I could have broken it, and I don't know how. All I did was update. It was an automatic update on my end, so there's not much I could have done. Gosh, this is so cool. So cool! So, have any of you checked out Blue Sky? That newer kind of social network platform? Please work. Island Lass, you were actually the one that got me kind of interested in it in the first place. Like, you told me about it, like, you know, like about a year ago when they had invite only, right? And that's how we got our Dungeon Alchemist account, was through your invite, I believe. Yeah, I don't know why that one command is broken. I'm going to figure it out really quick. Okay. There we go. It is, in fact, working. You need to update your link to be our new one. We actually got our profile to be adjusted to our domain name. So it's like, that's how they verify you, is they run your profile is attached to your domain name. Hey, see you later, Von Yakos. Have a good one, man. Thank you for being here. So notice it says dungeonalchemist.com now on our profile instead of @bsky or whatever. So here it says @dungeonalchemist.com. For now, at least, that's the best thing, the closest thing to a verification that they offer, because you can only do this if you know very, very like detailed and like tucked away information tied to your DNS, like your website setup. So Consummate, yeah, there's some pretty massive builds on the workshop. This one is one of the most epic multi-level builds. I mean, just all of this being done by hand is phenomenal. I don't know, David. I don't know. I've done a lot of social networking in my life, okay? So much that I became a community manager. I actually do it for a living. And I've watched a lot of social networks come and go. Some will just kind of have some hype and temporarily or whatever. But I have never seen as much like energy as I have behind like a post platform that's similar to like a Twitter kind of clone as I have with Blue Sky. And by that I mean, you know, a year ago I gave it no thought, and I created it to make sure we had the name, and I, you know, make sure we were followed there by anyone who was using it, and I would post there pretty regularly, but that's it. At the time when I created the account, you couldn't post GIFs, you couldn't post video. There was a whole lot of things that was missing, so I was just kind of like underwhelmed by it. And in very short order, they've made it very, very user-friendly, added a bunch of cool features that I find neat, that are kind of unique, like starter packs are kind of cool. And the growth on there is something else. I mean, our Dungeon Alchemist account it was at like 600 followers a week and a half ago, and we're now at 2,300. There's only one other account we have under our social umbrella that grows faster than that, and it is our Discord. So, I don't know. I'm just looking at it like it is growing pretty quick right now. I mean, it could be just a temporary thing, but the numbers for the site are getting bigger and bigger. The overall like traffic and usage and interaction is very high. Like our interaction on Twitter is, oof. It just seems like it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of dying. There's less and less people there. We're losing followers, bleeding followers, in fact. And whereas on like Blue Sky, we're going up hundreds a day. And getting, 5 to 10 times the interactivity on the same post. And that's just the start. We'll see. Who knows? Probably get better with time. As we get, more and more followers interested in what and know where we're at there. Well, I'm hoping that the overall like interactivity will even grow more, which makes sense. It's a sound theory as you get more interactivity. It's actually pretty proven. But anyway, that being said, I'm not trying to say that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just saying there are a lot of factors pointing towards it being a rising star and possibly staying that way. A lot of people are already kind of saying it's going to replace their kind of Twitter medium. Lately, people have been either kind of unhappy with some of the changes that are happening there from their terms and services, or just rapid adjustments that are just seemingly on the fly and whimsical. Like removing the block feature upset a lot of people. A lot of people are mad that the AI can scrape their art, which is a new thing in the terms of service. And so a lot of people have left for that reason. And I understand those reasons. We won't ever leave Twitter. We're going to stay there. But I've definitely noticed some difference, Refresh the chat. Okay, we're good now. Let me see. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents as like a community manager. If you maybe, you sell maps, or maybe you're a content creator, a streamer, social networking might have an importance to you, more than just like a casual passing thought. Also, I see it as a way to monitor the brands and products you're interested in and what's new with them. Like with Dungeon Alchemist, in the case of our profile, we're always, posting up-to-date, information, teasers, tips and tricks, answering questions, and reposting community member maps. Sharing information and links and times for our streams. So it's a great way to stay up to date with, what's going on in the community. And then when we get closer to the next update, we'll definitely be sharing tons more information on our social network platforms. So Blue Sky will be one of those places. Anyway. Shoot, my personal account on Blue Sky, I've actually already got 3,000 followers. I don't even know how I did it so quick. Like, I'm not complaining that I've gotten a lot of followers on there. I'm just saying, like, the growth is pretty crazy. All I'm saying, when you have a bit of traction, or there's like a movement that is like definitely causing a huge amount of interactivity in a place, you definitely should check it out. Who knows, with the TikTok ban now too, I might not even be able to post to TikTok anymore. It'll likely be Wim posting our TikToks now, so I'll just edit all the video and send it to him. I have no idea how that's gonna work. The world's a strange place now. Map is awesome. But it is time to move on. You know what, let's show off some assets. Let's throw this night sky over this really quick. This is a very impressive new asset shared on the workshop just this like last week and a half by Asmodeus. You've seen skyboxes on the workshop. In fact, there is an older version of this exact same asset. That one. But it's sealed off on the top. This new one is different in that it is a one-way skybox, kind of like a one-way mirror or like an observation room at a police station. In this case, the skybox, when you are exterior of it, hold on, it doesn't block your view. When you go to export, it doesn't block your view. Whereas the other one would block this. You'd have to have one version with the skybox, one version without, essentially two maps. But at the same time, if you're inside the skybox, you see a night sky on the exterior, or like from, you know, the interior perspective, but outside looking in, you can see everything without being hindered. You know, that's a good question, Consummate Nerd. So Consummate Nerd asks, will skyboxes be included as a thing in the future? So technically there already are two skyboxes, right? You have a nighttime and a daytime skybox in Dungeon Alchemist, depending on the time of day you set it, right? Wim, when he made those skyboxes, those were his first two attempts. He'd never done it before. And he wants to at some point come back and make a bunch more skyboxes and more options. Maybe make it more detailed or more animated. I don't know. But I do think at some point they'll likely address it. For now, the workshop is definitely filling in gaps. There is a bunch of those one-way skyboxes now. Asmodeus basically re-uploaded every one of his old skyboxes as a one-way skybox. And then there's also animated skyboxes that do things like lightning, rain, stuff like that. So it's kind of neat. Additionally, yeah, Consummate Nerd, the ambient light settings are not something to be underestimated. You obviously have the time of day in the root light menu, but if you go into the advanced hamburger menu, and that is what it's called, don't make fun of me, it is called a hamburger, that's the technical term. Okay, anyway, moving on. These little expanded, filters can drastically change the feel of a map. By changing the light filter. Then you also can adjust the light source to a degree, like its positioning, time of day, kind of like high noon versus, sunset type of situation, and overall brightness. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth, like maybe risking getting in trouble or arrested or whatever. There might be laws associated with the ban. Who knows? I could definitely use a VPN, but that just seems like, oh my, man, this looks like something from 40K now. I need to make like a video that anytime someone asks this during a stream, I just play it. So, Casualty. Yes, no, maybe. All across the board, because Dungeon Alchemist multi-level is totally possible right now. This was built using stock Dungeon Alchemist, no mods. In fact, there's not even workshop assets in this build. But how it was built was by hand. So it required a little bit of patience, a little bit of elbow grease, and a lot of time. You can build upward in Dungeon Alchemist using objects. If you're using the room tool, you're going to get frustrated because you can only do one level with the room tool currently. But if you break outside of the barriers of the room tool and use objects to supplement the spaces above, here we have pillars, freestanding walls, stuff like that. And it looks like just one area is a room. This whole like bottom floor is a real room. That's how doors are attached. And notice here there are like the base kind of like, that's pretty much it. That's all they did. But then they put pillars and freestanding walls all the way across the structure. So how this is done essentially is by using the object menu. You can disable collisions. When you have collisions off, objects are more free to move. They can be much closer to each other. They can be merged together or put closer together, stacked on top, etc. When you disable collisions, objects can be raised up and down. When you disable collisions, objects can be scaled far above and below their normal parameters. So that's like how these massive pillars were built. But this creator here just put a lot of due diligence together to build this entirely by hand. There are many examples of multi-level maps on the workshop. None of them were done using like third-party mods because we don't offer anything like that. Some might use dam modification, but that's something we don't provide support for, and to be honest, it's kind of an outdated method. It's something that maybe you needed to do 2 years ago, but really not anymore because you can raise objects up and down. So you don't really need to be dependent on modifying a file, nor would I recommend it, nor do we support it. So keeping that in mind, don't mess around with the dam files. It can really mess up DA or screw up your map. If you put a lot of work into it, you don't want that to happen. Moving on from there, multi-level as far as room generation is concerned, like being able to generate multiple floors and balconies and rooms and whatnot, our next update will be supporting that, and that should be releasing Q1 2025. So within the next few months, essentially right around the corner. When that launches, you'll be able to use the room generation tool to generate, every level of a building. It wouldn't be able to do anything intricate like this. It would still work within the room generation parameters. There's a lot of this like thick stone and pillars. That's something that is resized manually. But overall, room generation is getting a big improvement in our next update. And that being said, that is the last time I'm going to answer that question on today's stream, because I have answered it like 7 times. So we could probably just refer people to past portions of the stream or the VOD. Plus the stream's only 7 more minutes, so should be relatively, hopefully easy to avoid it. Each level will be a separate export, a whole new map, because it's a separate perspective of the map. No, I don't want to clip it from the streams. I'd rather just show it. But the thing is it's pointless to make a whole video of it when in like a couple of months, that method's going to be so outdated and useless. I don't even want to upload it places because like I get people messaging me in DMs all the time asking, how to build caves because they're confused because our old YouTube video that says it's outdated is still up because, you know, it's still up for posterity essentially to show how outdated it is. But our new caving system is like automatic. You can just generate caves, or the caving tool is super simple compared to how it used to be. Like, it was completely different workaround method to make caves before. So it's kind of like one of those things that I don't like making videos for workarounds when the workaround is like doomed to die in just a few, like, you know, like, let's just put it on like a, you know, weeks time scale, like in the next, you know, let's say 10 to 20 weeks, it's done. I don't know. I don't mind sharing workarounds on the stream. I don't mind guiding people through it in our Discord. I just think a video that I publish all over our social networks of weird, abstract concepts and workarounds, it doesn't seem quite as chill. Yeah, if it becomes obsolete and it's outdated, people still find this old media and base their information off of that. We still have people coming in saying damn editing all the time because they found some video on YouTube that's 3 years old, and they're like, oh, I was raising the building using damn editing, when you don't even need to do that anymore. You haven't needed to do that for like at least a year minimum. And man, if people are still doing damn editing, I feel bad for them. Like, it is a thing of the past. First and foremost, you can raise buildings up and down before you generate them now, so you don't need damn editing. Like file editing, so that's kind of taken care of there, right? So I can generate this structure up there, but before I do, I'm going to make some rounded walls. Totally possible now. Angled walls. Totally possible, or a mix and match, or whatever. This generates at this height. I can move this door to somewhere I feel is more reasonable. And then I'm going to regenerate the structure around that door, because I moved the door. Now the AI will shift its generation around the door placement. I like that, but I want more stools. There we go. Or benches. Much better. Lastly, objects can be raised and lowered. If you're in the object menu, if you disable collisions, this is like the GOAT, the MVP when it comes to making multi-level right now, because essentially everything you do is around raising stuff up and down beyond the like normal scope, and anything above this level, this first room you generate, will definitely have to be objects. So you're going to get into the object menu and go to structural, and there is thousands of objects in here. Freestanding walls are your best friend. They can pretty much do walls anything above this level. They can rotate, they can be scaled. So like this little wall here can be made very large. Saves you a lot of time if you're making multiple level or big city walls, stuff like that. Well, you can build underground and vertical structures in tandem, or all entirely underground with any verticality within the cave structure. So you can either use the natural verticality in a cave like you can now to make, you know, with terrain to have multiple level, which is kind of the standard. Alternatively, you can generate at multiple levels and have them intersect with like hallways and stairs and stuff like that. Yes. But yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to like quick workaround tips, like I probably won't ever make like long form or like YouTube videos of those, just because I learned my lesson from it the hard way. It's not good in the long run. In fact, I'm probably going to delete those old videos off of our YouTube. But they've been, you know, at this point shared, probably copied, posted other places. It's like, it's forever on the internet. Dungeon Alchemist is in such a constant state of flux too. You know, we are still in early access, but when I joined the team, Dungeon Alchemist was so significantly different than it is now. And I joined like a month after early access launch. now here we are, it's been almost 3 years I've been on the team. And it has been a roller coaster, and so many changes, quality of life improvements, major updates from our Kickstarter promises, and we just keep rolling out major updates with more and more and more. I mean, Dungeon Alchemist only had like 3 biomes when I joined. Now we have like 12. It's crazy. The workshop wasn't there. The asset importer wasn't there. Tracing and overlays wasn't there. Effects wasn't there. Tokens wasn't there. I mean, so many different things weren't a part of Dungeon Alchemist. So much has changed, and I'm so proud of what it is today. And it's just only going to get better, people. Each update is just a monumental achievement for the team. Oh, right, Dag? Dag, do you remember resizing things on tables? One thing I am working on, though, is short form tip videos that are like quick little tips and tricks about things in Dungeon Alchemist that are pretty standard, or like kind of unknown little gems about things in DA. Like the collision toggle is on that list. I did one for snow, the snow toggle, because it was seasonal, and I figured, hey, people don't know this. You can add snow to any map. So you could have a map your players frequent a lot, like a tavern they go to in the woods, and you could change it to the snow weather because it's that season now. So you can just open up that map, go to the terrain tab, and then add snow weather. You don't need to change the biome. That's the terrain biome. Don't change that. That'll shift up the whole map. Just change the weather. Done. And you could do this for any map. So you could have a map that's like a desert and add some snow to it, or the Feywild. But little tips and tricks videos like these are being worked on. I had a sore throat this last week, so I couldn't do like any major voiceover work on my days off. And voiceover work, actually, for like a 30-second clip, surprisingly takes more time than shooting the clips, editing the clips, adding, like effects and like overlays and images. The writing of a script that formats and fits to the length of the overall video and like moves with the tone of what's happening in the video, making sure that script is a certain amount of time, and then doing the voiceover recording for that script, and then closed captioning that audio so there's CC overlays for all of our video, places we post it. So anyone who is watching, in a muted scenario, maybe they're in a public space, library, train, or maybe it's an accessibility thing, at least they can read it and follow along there. I do think with time we're going to add more seasonal options or weather options. I will say this, we do have some fall trees. So like if you have a map you want to make fall, you can just kind of change to the broadleaf coverage and paint those out instead. Kind of delete the trees and do that, but they're way different than the evergreen. So it's like, oh, never mind. But yeah, it would be nice if we had different seasons for the trees, like if they went brown or whatever. It adjusted everything. I think rain and like clouds and a few other things are in the works eventually. On the workshop, you also can grab things like rain and lightning and stuff. That's quite good. These are hard to see. Doesn't look like anything, but it is actually rain. Asmodeus made this. He is Dallas RT. But if you look at this over this building, right? Scale this up to map size. So there's a few different like simple weather options. I mean, that only took me like a minute to get right. Semi good. You can do some rain, you can do some snow. There's probably, I think there's lightning and a few others. But yeah, I agree, Kalali. It would be good to be able to adjust the seasons of the map more freely instead of just snow an autumn season, a spring season. So it essentially kind of adjusts the look of the foliage to be more like kind of parallel to that season. Yeah, those hand-built stone walls, Highland Lass, are crazy. I remember those. Insane. Anyway, it's time to wrap up, everyone. Yeah, there's a lot, like, people will be like, oh, can you make a video for this? And I'm like, well, if I make a video for this, it'll be outdated in, like, just, like, 2 months. So, no, we'll wait until this is out. So, like, I was going to make a big walkthrough to do, like, all the different, like, angles and raising buildings up and down. But then it's, like, it's pointless when multi-floor will be something and just, like, it just outdates itself. It's so frustrating as a content creator. But at the same time, our community, the devs, understand that there's certain aspects of video that just can't be, like, maintained and kept up to date very easily. So the short form little tip videos are the best way to go. What are you talking about, Troutfoot? Drug test. I am so confused by what you're talking about. You mean my dev test? Dev test? Which is what I was talking about earlier. So check this out, y'all. You want to be jealous? There is a broken build under here for me. The dev test that I can load into. Troutfoot, bud, you're definitely teetering a line at the moment. I'll just say, dial it back. First off, I know you're joking, but even insinuating that it's frustrating a little bit. And it seems like you're trying to diminish my position as the community manager, which I don't really appreciate, you know? And also, it's a little bit of, like, kind of libel, a little bit, to a degree. So please, don't do that, okay? Oh my goodness. Dirty Rollers, how you doing, bud? You got in right as I'm leaving. All right, everyone. I had an amazing time hanging out with you all. Just a few quick reminders, bits of info, news, relevant info. There's only a few days left to participate in the Dam Challenge. You have between now and next Friday, the 13th, end of day, to make a map using window shopping as your theme. If you'd like to participate, use window shopping as a theme, make a map of any shape or size. Submit that map to the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord. The Dam Challenge is a bi-weekly map-making contest we host on our streams and in our Discord. The Dam Challenge channel has some rules pinned at the top you can follow to qualify. And if you win, you get a $10 Hero Forge gift card, as well as your map is featured in our weekly newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles. And when we have the Dam Challenge stream, which is the opposite Saturday, so next Saturday of our Dam streams, the opposite Saturdays of the Dam stream. Sorry, I had a little bit of word salad there. The first map featured is the winning map. We usually showcase it for like 20-30 minutes. So it's a good way to get a lot of eyes on your work, show off your cartography skills, and also just kind of challenge yourself. That's the whole point of the Dam Challenge. So if you want to participate in that, time's running out. Other news, Monday is our next stream. That is Mapmaker Monday. That is at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. UTC. If you would like to participate, make sure you notate that on your calendar or click interested on the event in our Discord. Can we get the event shared across the streams for the upcoming Mapmaker Monday? If you click interested RSVP, you'll get a reminder in your Discord app when the stream goes live, and you'll see a little notification of it in the Discord stream, or like in the Discord channel, if you happen to miss the notification. That way it's like a reminder and you can just, oh yeah, it's live, I'll pop in. During Mapmaker Monday, I build a map live for you to watch and follow along. We've been building a massive cemetery. The map is 82 by 82 at the moment. It may get larger. And it's essentially, I mean, it's coming together as this massive cemetery complex that is aged over time and has different areas that are like nicer, fancier. Some are older, more basic. Some are middle of the road. When are you going live, Dirty Rollers? What time? So this is the map we're working on Mondays. I've been kind of doing this area over here, which is graves for like the various martyrs and nuns and clerics and priests of the church over the years. Then you have this massive cathedral chapel area, not nearly as nice as that last one we were looking at. I'm not talented enough for that. But I've got a beautiful garden around the outside here. And I built a 3-story bell tower to kind of demonstrate it's possible. Garden's walkable, navigable in first person. You have an entry over here, which we have like a little cover there and like a road to go in and parking areas. Different grave sites, which we plan to flesh out with more detail as we go, maybe walkways, paths. Here is a much more advanced, like fancier, you know, like I'm assuming this is like a well-to-do, maybe like a royal family's grave area sites, you know. And then we still have all this real estate to work with for more graves, and we plan to put a little caretaker's cottage over here. No worries. No worries. I'll try and see if I can catch you later today. I got some things with the family I'm doing, so I don't know if I'll be watching streams today or not. If I have free time, I will. Dude, thank you for following me back on Blue Sky, by the way. I've been kind of learning a lot about that platform the last few days. Lots going on. Been growing like crazy. Huh. Honestly, we're really close to 9K on TikTok. We're only 3 followers away from 9K. So we're getting pretty close. Unfortunately, it's like one of those things you gotta just put out a really good like viral video to hit it. So I've got another video I'm putting together. I'm hoping should finish by the weekend, and I'll maybe post it this weekend or by Monday, Tuesday at the latest. I might just start posting like every Tuesday as like Tip Tuesday. You know what I mean? Something like that. Map Tip Tuesday or something. I'll come up with something. Damn Tip Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really want to put myself on a weekly tip schedule because I'll eventually run out of tips to give, but some of them can be reposted later, I suppose. Really only need like 52 videos, right? If you think about it. Well, minus my vacation. So, probably 50 videos. In the scope of things that, okay, so like a 30-second video, I probably do 30 minutes of work tied to just the voiceover capture and CC, like the little, sorry, the captions on it. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm always a bunch of steps ahead. But at the same time, I'm also very much in my head. A lot of what I do is all like in my head. I don't write things down and, you know, or like put things to documents per se. I kind of have my own style or whatever. But, you know, it is what it is. It helps my workflow better. When I put things to paper, I don't know. It makes me feel like, I don't know. I only put it to paper if I need to draw it or there's meticulous steps. You know what I mean? Anyway, I've been kind of saying this for a while. How would y'all feel about this? When I'm recording my voiceover for clips, like for the script of it, would you want me to do another angle recording myself while I'm doing it? And then I can clip all the outtakes together for like a funny video? Like in my head, I'm thinking like I have like a camera capturing my face and my voice, right? And then whenever I mess up, it'll have that recording. And I could maybe put together a compilation clip of like all of my bloopers or something. I don't know. It'd be pretty funny, but at the same time, I feel like I swear a lot when I'm doing voiceover. I don't know how much of it would be useful. Because I get a little frustrated. But I guess I could bleep it out or something. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like there's some merit in this. It could be pretty funny. But at the same time, I don't want to subject the community to the horrors of my rage. Like, it is no joke when I say voiceover work. I used to think like, oh man, I want to do this for a living. This is the coolest potential job prospect. Like when I was younger, that was like my idea of the best job. Like I wanted to do a voiceover for anime or cartoons or commercials or anything. Radio, I would have taken anything. But the thing is it wrecks your voice and there is so much work into getting it just right. You know, like a 30-second script, I'll record it probably minimum. If I'm lucky, I'll get it in 5 takes. If I'm unlucky, like 30 or 40 takes. Adds up pretty quick in just recording the audio. Then you need to edit the audio, make sure it's like, you know, not sounding funky or has any dips in it. You know, it's frustrating. And then captioning it all is the worst part. Because you got to caption and time the captions with what you're saying so it actually makes sense. It is, I think that's like my least favorite part of making videos. So, thank you for hearing me rant and rave about, you know, content creation. Well, I used to do captioning by hand, but now my video editor has a kind of an AI-assisted caption tool that it'll listen to the audio clip and make captions for it. But the problem is the captions, it doesn't always capture what you say right or spell it right or put it in the in the formatting you want, or the way it puts the caption together will have like runoff words that should be in the next caption. So I have to go through and re-edit it all manually anyway. But it does put in like most of the text for me. It converts the audio to text right away. It's oh man, it is like a whole thing. No, I use Wondershare Filmora for my video editing. And it has an AI, it can do text to speech or speech to text. So you can do either or. So I could have a typed up document and then it has some AI of voices, like robotic voices that it'll talk it out, or otherwise. But it's probably similar to DaVinci's, I'd imagine. I don't know. I had never really considered using DaVinci before. I've heard of it a few times in the last couple of months. It sounds like a good tool. I used to use Sony Vegas for video editing, and Sony's gotten so bloated and just junky over the years, the video editing. And then also, I used to use Premiere a lot too, but Premiere is also just has problems. It crashes a lot for me and has all sorts of issues and just not as good as it used to be, in my opinion. And so I went and found a different tool that I enjoyed. Wondershare is interesting in that, like, they do lots of updates and it has a lot of great tools in it and pretty standard stuff. And then they also offer like a monthly plan you can sign up for if you want. And that gives you access to like thousands and thousands of effects that are added by like artists and creators they hire and put together like a huge like overlay and effect and sound effects and text effects stuff. So there's a base amount included in the like base price, but then a much more enhanced library to dig through if you want. Wondershare, it's like an annual license. I think it's like $40, $50 a year. Depending on the time of year, you might even be able to get it for cheaper if there's a sale. And then they update it probably 10, 12 times a year, if not more. So it's always like getting lots of good support. Anyway, ran rather long today, but I don't mind talking turkey. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll be back Monday with Mapmaker Monday. Otherwise, my name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a procedural generation AI-based map maker that is available on Steam. When I say procedural generation, I mean last gen AI, not, generative next gen AI. And our AI was developed entirely in-house. I say that with confidence. We wanted to build a very ethical AI. At no point was any public data, art, maps, etc. scraped or utilized to train or build our AI. Our talented team of developers built and trained the AI in-house. With every update, they retrain it to all the new assets and room types. I hear them swearing about it quite frequently, so it is something they do themselves. And all of the assets in Dungeon Alchemist that you get in the stock build, nothing from the workshop, of course, but all the stuff in the stock build that our AI uses is made entirely in-house by a talented team of artists that we love and respect and pay very fairly. So I think when it comes to an AI, it's above board and ethical as it can be. And using AI to help you save time for your map making and session prep so you have more time for fun with your players is probably one of the best uses you could find for AI, in my opinion. Now, enough about tooting our own horn there. Thank you so much for watching with us today. Appreciate you all being here, supporting our community initiatives, whether it's our, social network posts, our streams, our videos. We have several streams through the week, and some people are here religiously through each stream. So I thank you so much for being here, whether you're lurking, actively chatting, helping chatters and with support, or just vibing. Thank you for being part of the Damn Fam, the Damn Nation. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager, and we'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye. See you later, Atlam. Thank you so much for some dope modding. Dag's no longer here, but I was going to thank him as well, but it's okay. Thank you so much for being here, brother. We'll talk to you later. We're going to run a quick ad, and we're going to end the stream. Should we do the round wall ad or the wobbling ad? I'll let y'all pick. Curves or wobbling? Both? Oh, come on. Just one. I already ran an ad earlier. I feel bad running 3 ads this time. So, wobbling. Okay, we'll run wobbling. I'm going to mute the music for just a moment.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Doyak Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
use.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. As Woblin gets his entire life dissected and probably ended. He was a great sport. Rip Woblin. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll see. Can we get an F in chat for Woblin, please? Quick F in chat for Woblin before we wrap up the stream. And everyone, thank you for being here. You have a wonderful day. Back out. Bye. You're not helping, Consummate Nerd. You're making it worse.